everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bilikis. You know what, I'm always excited each time I want to drop a video. I don't know why, because I love you guys. Yeah, you make Bilikis signatures, so I have to be happy, excited each time I'm about to make a video. Today's class will be on how to make the stylish mini skirts with some fabric to tie a bow or a knot in front, and trust me, it's going to be very beautiful. Yeah. So right now, let's go to the work table. I already have the measurement. I'll be making use of this mannequin I have here. All you need your waist circumference, your hip circumference, your waist to hip measurements, then the length of the skirt. You could have it as a mini skirt, midi, or even maxi, or even attach it to a dress to have a beautiful dress. Yeah. Sewing is all about creativity. So please follow me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovation. Please subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Let's go to the work table. This is the sketch of what we are going to be having. It's just a short skirt. The length depends on your preference. Then we have some fabric here to make this bow or whatever you want to tie in front. So what are the measurements required? The waist circumference, the hip circumference, the length of the skirt, then the waist to hip. I have two fabric here, which is plain and pattern. I always like to use this so that you will be able to see one on the other. So that is why I love plain and pattern so much. So first we are going to start drafting the main skirt. The length of the skirt is 15 inches, so I added extra 1.5 inches to hem the lower part. The next measurement is from the waist, because this is the waistline, the waist to the hip, which is 6 inches, and then the hem of the skirt. So from the measurement now, let me start with the hip measurement. The hip circumference is 40 inches, and then I'm going to divide that by 4. So when I divide that by 4, I'm going to have 10 inches. So 40 divided by 4 is going to be 10 inches. Then you can add some ease to the skirt to make it free. That is not so fitted. That is totally optional. Between quarter to half an inch is fine. So just mark that here. And then you have to add extra 1 inch for seam allowance. Now going to the waist. The waist is 30 inches. That's the circumference. When you divide by 4, you'll be having 7.5. But we are going to add that to the skirt just to give it some fitting. And half an inch on both sides is just fine. For a size 10, it's just okay. So 7.5 plus 1 inch is going to give us 8.5. So I'm going to mark 8.5 here. That's with the that allowance. Don't forget the 1 inside seam allowance. So first, let me connect that before we continue with the hip curve. Let me see that. Then coming to the hem of the skirt, so you can make it tapered, meaning when you want it fitted. So how tapered you want it to be depends on how hippie you are. So if you are someone that is very hippie, you could take away up to 2 inches from whatever measurement you have on the hip here. So, but if you are not so hippie, just make do with 1 inch. So you just take away 1 inch from whatever you have here. But because I'm using the mannequin, I might not want to take up to 1 inch because the mannequin is straight. But for human being, our laps are together. So for her, I'm just going to take away half an inch from what I have here. This is 11.5. So that's, I'm just going to make it 11. 11 is fine. But for, assuming I'm making it for myself, I will just deduct 1 inch to 1.5. So for someone EP, you can do up to 2 inches because you have your hips to do justice to that. Then take your ruler and connect from the hip to the hem. So we are done with that. For the dart, we are going to need the bust span measurement. That is the distance from one nipple to another. For the mannequin, it is 7 inches. Half of that is 3.5, which I'm going to mark here. Then remember we added extra 1 inch for the dart, so we are going to split it half an inch on both sides. Half. Then from the actual 3.5, I'm going to go down by 4 inches. The next thing is to connect this 1/2 inch to the point. That will be the dart to be sewing in. The dart is formed. The next thing by standard is to come up on the side by 1/2 inch. Then I'll use my hip cuff to blend it into the dart. So this has to be straight too, so it is time to cut out. The skirt looks like. Let me see. So for the dart, I'm just going to notch it to have it on the other part. This is what the skirt looks like. So I'm going to use it to cut the back. I folded for the back. All I did was to fold the same way for the front. And then I measured 1 inch from the folded parts. That will be for the zipper allowance. If you are adding a lining, you are just going to cut out the same way I'm cutting everything out. Then place on it and cut out. This is what we have for both the front and the back. You see, so you just mark the dart points, so with that you know it. Then the waist to hip here. So let me quickly explain something here. For the back, if you are someone that has a big bum and you want it to be prominent, you can make it tapered here. So all you have to do is, depending on how big your behind is, you can make it tapered. So between 1/2 to 3/4 inch is fine. So you just measure it. Though I'm not going to cut it out because I'm making use of a mannequin. So 1/2 inch. Just draw a straight line towards the waist to hip line. So you just have to cut this point off. But because I'm making use of a mannequin that is straight, I won't do that. So all I have to do is to slit it open. This is for the front and this is for the back. So that's what we have. So let's quickly cut the fabric for the bow. Cut out the fabric and the band. So let me quickly explain the band. The waist circumference is 30 inches, but I cut out 32 inches. So I added extra 2 inches to it. So that is because I'm going to need extra 1/2 inch to sew this up on the inside and also here, which is 1 inch, and the remaining 1 inch will be for the overlap. Then the band height, I just cut out 2.5 inches. I want the band height to be 2 inches and the remaining half will be for joining it to the main skirt. Now going to the fabric that I cut out, I just cut out 45 inches. This is by 45, and then the wideness is 12 inches. You might be wondering why it's so wide. I have 12 inches, as you can see. The reason is that I will need about 3/4 to 1 inch to hem the side, also this other side. And then on the skirt, I want a little pleating on the side. So let me quickly show you the skirt. So for the skirt, I want the fabric to be about 6.5. So somewhere from here to here. That's where I want the fabric to be. So that means I'll be pleating a little or just gather it up to have so much fullness and add beauty to the skirt in front. So that's why I'm doing that. So right now I have 45 inches in length and then the wideness of 12 inches. So back to the skirt, we need to start sewing. So all I have to do now is to take in the darts. So can you see? Just sew in the darts, and also for the back. After doing that, will I sew up the sides? I left 1 inch, so 1 inch all down. Coming to this side, 1 inch all down. So let me quickly do that. That has been taken in for the back and also for the front. Then for the long strip of fabric, I've folded the edges. Then I folded one here. As I've said, one side has been hemmed too, so I have this part open. So this will be the part that will be sewn into the side seam. So looking at this now, so these are the right side facing each other. So what I did is this: measure 2 inches downward and mark that point, then 6 inches here. This will be where the fabric is going to be, but I have more than the required space. So what I'm going to do is to just fold a little. You can just make a box split. So starting from this point, like a box split or inverted pleat, or just gather it up. Can you see the way I did that? Fold it again. So can you see what I'm going to have? So this is to add more volume to this part. So after doing this, I can just sew this down first, or just sew it along with the back panel. So can you see what I have? So I'm just going to sew down 1 inch, sorry, we left 1 inch. Then do the same thing to the other side. Everything has been attached and it looks beautiful already. Can you see that? So the essence of the pleating is to give it some volume. Can you see that? So after doing that, at the back, I just had to sew on the wrong side. Can you see 1 inch? And I left the space for the zipper. The next thing I'm going to do now is to fix in the zipper and then attach the band to it. Can you see it's beautiful? Then I can display it for you to see on the mannequin. The skirt after attaching the zipper and the band, so beautiful. Can you see? So what I'm going to do now is to give it a good press and then tie it for you to see on the mannequin. Can you see that? So you can add lining to it if you want. So can you see that? So I'm going to tie it on the mannequin for you to see a better view of it. So beautiful. So let me do that. This is what it looks like before tying it. Can you see that? So what I'm going to do now is to tie it for you to see. Can you see? This is just another way of tying. I just, tied it once and it looks so beautiful. Then I'm going to form a knot now. Can you see the knots? I formed the bow with the fabric and it's looking so beautiful. So ensure you make this for yourself and share with us on our Facebook group, Sewing Innovations. Tag me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures. I love you guys. Bye guys, so beautiful.